Cool, right Emma, so lower back pain, common injury in general population, would you say?
Yeah, pretty
Something
much.
you come across all the time when
Yeah.
you're chatting with clients in and out of gyms. So what I kind of say to a lot of people is you don't need to live with lower back pain, because a lot of people go, yeah, right, I got it, so I just kind of live with it.
Yeah.
Which is completely like reversible. Just down to doing some like key mobility exercises, going along to yoga classes is ideal as well. Do you do a bit of yoga yourself?
I do, yeah. I've started going to yoga a lot more.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Bikram yoga?
God, it's actually just too hot for me.
Too hot, yeah.
I just end up being in like on the floor.
Just sweating. Yeah, I've done it once and that was my first and last time.
Really, yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to look at 5 kind of like really simple key exercises which like for, being a personal trainer for the last 7 years, I've done with a lot of my clients, which has helped relieve their lower back pain.
Okay.
So I'm going to quickly demo the exercise and then I'm going to give a few key pointers whilst we're doing it. So the first one's just literally straight up an elbow plank. So a lot of people, when they're into an elbow plank, they drop through the shoulders, the hips are sort of sagged. So what we're looking for is pressure down for the elbows to pull the hips in so the glutes engage. And then we're actually looking for the stimulus between the elbow and the toes pulling together on the floor like this. Okay, so if you go into that position, and the reason you'll feel why in a second. So in that position, if you try and contract your glutes as hard as you can, then pull this elbow point towards this toe point, you'll feel like the abs engage a lot harder, yeah? Yeah, feel that more, straight on the front.
Yeah.
So just hold that position for 10 seconds. So what you're focused on here is actually bracing through the trunk, but also trying to get that connection between the glutes and the abs working at the same time. So if I ask you to hold that and keep this pressure going at the same time, and then start to push you around and nudge you and get you to brace, do you think that would be quite tough over like a 60-second period?
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah? Cool, so for this, you generally looking to work for, someone, if you can build them up to be able to hold a solid plank for about 2 minutes, that's kind of what I would class as like your bread and butter, if they can hold that solid, okay? So just come out with that one, that's awesome. So feel that straight through the trunk?
Yeah.
Cool. So then we're going to just move on quickly to like a side plank. The reason why you would do a side plank in a series, again for lower back pain, to work on lateral stabilisation for the core. So this is all the stuff you're going to learn in your level 3 stuff when you go on to that. So how I like to come into it, again, just to kind of create tension in the plank, is hold into this position, then rotate through the trunk here, and then let the feet move, okay? And then you're basically just trying to push the hip up to the ceiling. With this arm, you can go up here, you can go one foot on top of the other if you want to, just to give it a little bit more instability. But to actually get into it, if you go into like a normal plank, and then rotate through the trunk.
And then hold it at the top.
Yeah.
Okay.
So go into that for us. So a normal plank, keep the feet as they are, and now rotate the right arm towards the ceiling and push through that left arm. Good, and then just let the feet rock onto their sides. Okay, then push this hip straight to the ceiling, and then just try and, again, just straighten your body out so you've got a straight line between your shoulder, your hip, and your sort of middle of where your feet would be.
Am I straight?
Yep, that's perfect. So you again looking to keep nice and strong for this bottom arm. Again, like a common mistake you'd see whilst in a side plank is that the lower arm, which you're stabilising on, would just kind of go like what I call, just like drop into the shoulder, which is probably going to end up just making your shoulders ache. Yeah. So again, what you'd look to be building up to is probably like a 60 to 90 second plank on this side. Okay. Cool, and rest. So that's like exercise 2. Obviously you've got to do that on both sides, otherwise you're going to get ripped on one side and not the other.
And not the other.
And then this is one of my favourites. So we can build this up from, first of all, starting flat on the ground, dead bugs. I don't know why they're called dead bugs, because
like
you're actually moving there, so they're not dead. But yeah, so you're going to pull into this position, and again, you're going to look to flatten your back against the floor, so there's no gap between your spine and the floor. And how you, if you're sort of on your own doing this, a nice way is sometimes you can put your fingers under your lower back. So when you're here, you can actually put your fingers right under your lumbar spine, and then look to pull your fingers, to crush your fingers against the floor, just so you feel that activation work. And then from here, you then just start to reach out with one leg and then the other, and you're not looking for any rotation in the pelvis. Once you've done that, again, for sort of 10 reps on each side, you can then pull up into like a bit of a crunch as well, and then continue to work through the legs. Okay. And then obviously the further you take your arms back over your head,
you don't have
without,
to do that.
yeah, you don't have to do that. No.
You don't have to do a real bug.
No. You've got to make the sound of a dead bug though, so I don't know what they sound like actually.
I was going to say, do you want to demonstrate? No. I'm not sure.
Okay, so pull into the abs, head and shoulders flat to the floor, so you want to keep that nice and flat. And then you're going to work heel to the ground, okay? So you're going to work the heel all the way to the floor. And then look to just get no gap between the lower back and the mat, okay? So pull in nice and tight. And what you should feel like is that your abs are working hard enough that your shoulders and your head aren't pulling away from the floor, okay? Right. So you just keep that focus on the trunk. So then just come up to 90 and hold, so both to here. Good, and then just pull your shoulders forward a bit more. Take your hands off as well. palms up, good. That's nice, and just keep working through there. Now just slowly keeping your shoulders, start to take your hands back over your head. Good, as far as you can, you'll feel more and more pressure through the abs. Feel that more?
Yep.
Just do another 5. Starting to work hard?
Yeah, really hard.
Yeah. And rest there, cool. So another thing I would do whilst I'm coaching my sort of clients through sort of lower back rehab work is obviously keep asking, saying like, is there any issues with the back whilst you're doing it? Because if it exacerbates a problem, then I wouldn't recommend, so you just ease off and you do something else. So that might be slightly too advanced for someone. So with that, initially, with a dead bug, your reach with the leg might be slightly less fast. So you might not kind of reach all the way to the heel to the floor. So once you're in this position, you might only go to about here. And then that's where you feel like your pelvis is about to start moving. So initially you start small and then you gradually get bigger. Then you add in the arms and everything else, so it gets harder and harder. So the last one we're going to work through is just basically what I call hip bridge march. So once you've got your hip bridge nail, which is pulling in, pushing up to this position, so glutes are engaged, you're then going to lift up one leg to a 90, back down, other leg to 90, back down, and then just keep alternating between the legs. Okay. Keep the focus on the glutes. And try and not let the abs kind of relax and switch off. Okay, so pushing down through the heels, toes lifted. Again, shoulders and head sank to the floor, pull to 90, good. And pull to 90, nice. And just alternate nice and slowly. And try and focus as well on your sternum plate. So that sternum plate just at the top of your stomach. And like the pubis bone, just pull in nice and tightly together so you feel your abs working as well. And then again, you're just trying to keep that hip at the same height. No rotation in the hips. Just do 3 more on each side. Cool, nice. And rest there. And then to progress that, like a nice little nice thing you can do, we haven't got one here, but you could put a mini band around your knees.
Oh yeah, that hurts.
And then you start pulling against the mini band so it creates more resistance.
Okay.
And what that will also do is start to just get the hip flexors to fire up as well, which again, if someone's got lower back issues, they tend to have a bit of lower back, weak hip flexors as well. So do you think as like a set of those, that would probably help you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
I do, yeah. I mean, my lower back's definitely not good because my core's lost its strength.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's...
So you would say it's more down to your core?
I think so. I mean, I've had hip issues anyway, but yeah, my core, when I don't train, my core is not tight, then my back goes.
Sure. So, because usually, like how like injuries can start to like become problems, like where you've got a joint, if you've got like muscle groups above and below the joint, it's usually one or both of those muscle groups getting like tight, and then it pulls on the joint, and that's when it causes the imbalance and the problem. So if someone's got lower back issues, it could be down to being tight through the thoracic spine, or just tight generally through the spine. So you do lots of kind of spinal mobility work. Okay. So that's like a different kind of segment that we could look into at another time. And then the hips is the big one. So if someone's got tight hips, again, they're going to just basically rely on their lower back taking a lot of load. Then if they're in classes and doing exercise, and you which kind of classes do you do at the moment?
At the moment?
Yeah.
Yoga.
Yoga?
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of yoga and Pilates. The bootcamp Pilates, so it's the reformer bits.
Reformer stuff?
Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's really good.
I've never done the reformer
It's good because it feels like a workout and you're stretching at the same time, so it's not like Zen yoga where you just want to fall asleep.
Yeah, Zen's really, that's my favourite kind of yoga,
Yeah.
No, that's cool. So I mean, like, the stronger you are in the trunk and the core, it's going to have carryover into any like HIIT classes you're doing, or it's got so much carryover that it will just help kind of relieve lower back issues. So
definitely.
Cool, awesome,
Cool.
High five, nice work.
Good job.